Welcome back, everybody. Today's video is going to be my first video of the new year. I know I've been gone for a little while, guys. I was traveling and doing panel work for Dota 2 events, but today we are back with a 7.35 meta update where I'm just going to be talking about my impressions so far after coming back for the first week of the new year. Let's go ahead and get started. The major update that I'm going to be talking about today is the carry meta and, generally speaking, the broken items that are being built and how the meta kind of revolves around these items right now. As we've seen 7.35B come out, nerfing Shivas, nerfing a few of the OP heroes, but I really want to focus on what I believe is dictating everything in the meta right now. So first, let's start with the OP items. First and foremost, Vlad's. Out of all the cheap items, Vlad's feels like the most powerful item right now. So I'm actually seeing a lot of summons heroes, even carry morphlings, are going for a Vlad's because he's a high stat gain hero that benefits from the lifesteal and the percent base damage. But so what we're seeing a ton of is summons heroes like Visage in the off lane, Beastmasters going for the Vlad's rush, and really any hero that you can think I could go off lane with this and I could buy a Vlad's has potential to be good in this meta, and you might even be seeing it already in my games. And really, feel free to try it out in your games. I'm going to be trying Tide, perhaps Mars. There's so many options that like to buy Vlad's, don't necessarily have to be summons heroes, but the fact that it's so cheap with no recipe costs really drove the item into like a territory of just feels like the best 2k gold item for most cores as a sustain, tower pressure, tempo-based item. Most importantly, I like Visage the most. So going off of Vlad's, we're going to talk about the late game item that I'm seeing a lot on summons heroes or generally illusion heroes, and that's Bloodthorn. Now giving 100 attack speed, but most notably, instead of the built-in crit from every attack, it's 60 magic damage on every attack on the target that is Bloodthorn. Let's keep in mind that that is not just heroes, that is illusions, that is summons units. I saw on Koikfa's stream, I saw a Broodmother who Bloodthorns you. Every spider attacked you once and you instantly died. So we're seeing a lot of Bloodthorns on illusions and summons heroes. And so that leads me into my next item, which is Disperser. Disperser is the item that dictates the entire carry role right now. This item has been overbuffed, is absolutely broken, and the reason why Bloodthorn segues us into Disperser is because Disperser is the new hot dispel item. A lot of heroes that go for that diffusal, yeah, they have the aggressive potential of diffusal, but that usually tapers off as enemy heroes are getting force stabs and defensive items and dispels of their own. Disperser can be self-targeted or ally targeted, and it gives in an AoE around the target you use it on a dispel and basically the Boots of Bearing active without the attack speed. It is haste movement speed, the reverse of a diffusal that slowly slows down. So what I'm saying here is imagine a agility item that gives decent damage and stats, gives you haste movement speed for a few seconds, dispels you, and also does it in an AoE, so against any AoE debuffs, and it's like a Lotus Orb on a core. You can use it on someone else. I've been buying it and sitting behind people ready to purge Bloodthorns and Atoses and all that kind of jazz because this item is just so broken. So believe me, later on in the video when I'm going to jump into the carry pool that's getting picked right now, remember Disperser. I have people in my Twitch chat saying Disperser is an underrated item, and what I would say about that to you guys is a reminder that the meta always takes some time to trickle down. So right now, Disperser is purchased on literally every hero that I'm seeing in my games, and you're gonna see it very soon. And if you watch this video, I highly encourage you to buy Disperser, and I'm gonna be talking about the heroes that utilize it best as we talk about the carry role coming up next. So one last item I want to talk about that we're seeing a ton on mostly int right-clicking cores. We're seeing it on Nature's Prophet get picked core. We're seeing it even on like agility cores like Viper, Lina carry getting picked, Wind Ranger. I've even been seeing Mirana crop up, and that's Gleipnir. What they basically did to Gleipnir was keep it at the same price, but it gets 30 attack speed. That's pretty noteworthy as an item that kind of lacked in the damage department, and now since they removed all the all stats and put just int in health, the 30 attack speed really counterbalances the nerfs that happened a few patches ago, and I'm seeing a lot more Gleipnirs. The fifth item that's absolutely broken right now is Mage Slayer. I'm seeing it on any hero with AoE right click click effects like Ember Spirit being most noteworthy, but also heroes that just reliably click you like Wyvern from long range and Viper and any hero that just kind of wants to slow you, wear you down, and basically say you can't fight back. Heroes that defend themselves by just right-clicking you. And what makes Mage Slayer so good right now, on top of the fact that it got slight buffs, but the 40 attack speed goes really well with Maelstrom, so a lot of heroes are pairing it with Mage Slayer Maelstrom, but also the fact that the item now has a 20 damage debuff per second for every second that it's on you for 6 seconds. This cancels blinks, this cancels any sort of regen, and also the 40% little extra debuff it gives instead of 35%. These little numbers are adding up so that Mage Slayer is a nice attack speed item, which makes it even way better on illusion heroes because it didn't benefit them at all with plus damage. But just generally speaking, they're trying to get rid of the spellcasters. Like, that's what 7.35b did. It said like nerf the spell amplification items, nerf Bloodstone, buff Mage Slayer. So we're seeing a lot of the items that are being very popular this patch are physical damage, dispels, or Maelstrom as a farming tool. So the 5 items that are broken right now are Mage Slayer, Disperser, Vlad's, Bloodthorn, and Gleipnir, in no particular order because I know I gave it to you in a different order. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the carry hero pool that I'm predominantly seeing in 7.35b. And reminder, Disperser. When we get into it, first and foremost, what they did to Disperser was, instead of a Demon Edge, it is Eagle Song, which gives extra agility. So this is even better on illusion heroes especially, but it's also just better on agi heroes in general. So what is it about the heroes that utilize Disperser the most that makes them noteworthy? So if they're not a Disperser hero, as you see Lina, these are the most picked heroes on Dota 2 Pro Tracker right now in the carry role, it is going to be a Gleipnir buyer, okay? If it's not Disperser, it's Gleipnir. Like, Linas are just absolutely rushing Gleipnir, and any hero we see in the core role that's not buying Disperser, trust me, it's going to be Gleipnir. So what are the types of Disperser heroes that really benefit from it? So it's generally ranged heroes that get controlled with either because they're slow, like Medusa Sniper, or because they're low ranged, like Luna. It is a extra dispel on top of it. If you're a Manta buyer, it's even better because you can use Manta for damage and then use the Disperser in order to dispel yourself again from silences, roots, etc. So we're seeing it on ranged heroes like Luna, Wind Ranger, and then you're seeing it on TB and Medusa. But the noteworthy heroes that we're going to see it on the most is mobility heroes that when they jump in, now what? You know, they're the heroes that you look to burst in the midst of use mobility spell, go in, and then they need a way to reset the fight. Those are the type of heroes that heavily benefit from Disperser. Yeah, they can potentially use it aggressively to chase you down, but the majority of the time it's jump in, look to kill a target, look to do some sort of meaningful damage, and then Disperser and run the fuck away, disengage, and then have their mobility spell, which is on a low cooldown, look to engage again, and Disperser also being a low cooldown, they get to rinse and repeat this process. So think about it. Faceless Void, we're looking at Morphling, Anti-Mage, Slark, Spectre with the reality and reality back outplay. Think about the fact that these are the absolute best Disperser builders. I mentioned Sniper early on in the video, and he's not seen in this carry role, which I actually think he's a really good mid right now. And it's specifically because Disperser gives you haste movement speed, and so you can use Take Aim, which usually slows you, and then Disperser yourself, so you're then hasted while taking aim. So extra range, guaranteed headshots, and hasted. If you haven't already seen it on streams, is my sleeper mid, perhaps carry, I'm not entirely sure just yet. A hero that utilizes Disperser, and he also doesn't hate the new Maelstrom, potentially Gleipnir, but he'll more likely go for Mjolnir. So even Meepo with an absurdly high win rate right now is going for Disperser because it's nice agility and it sets up his net when you go for the early diffusal. So you're going to notice something about the carry role right now. And I want to tell you that the carry role doesn't really feel like that strong right now. I feel like the meta is heavily predicated on mids that can roam and have global presence. And then we're talking about offlaners that are super high tempo with the Vlads, with these other low-cost items that basically make the carry feel like they're playing cat and mouse throughout the entire course of the game, and most of your items have to be defensive, and that's why the Disperser, which is aggressive and defensive, feels so nice. But when we look at the win percentages, man, the majority of heroes are red, with a small percentage of them barely hitting 50%, but other ones hitting way above 50%. You know, we see 55, 56, 53, and then the rest are just red. And that basically sums up the carry role right now. When I look at these top picked ranged heroes like Lina and Windranger and Luna, even Morphling. I think Morphling's a little artificially deflated because of how hard the hero is, and whenever there's a Morphling meta, people are naturally going to like first pick it, trying to learn it. A hero that I'm also going to be trying to learn right now. A lot of the top pros are putting him in like S tier as a carry hero right now. The Conda build, the Disperser, all these new items are just really good for Morphling. But these heroes feel like if you're really good at them, you're going to do well, and if you're newer to these ranged heroes or a little unfamiliar with ranged carries, like this is why I think it has a slightly below 50% win rate. But Slark with Disperser, faces Voids are even going Disperser. I want to mention that Troll Warlords are going like Battle Fury, 3rd, 4th item Disperser. I'm also liking TA, but she's not going the meta items. That's like the one hero I see on here that's like not buying the Gleipnirs and the Dispersers. My last bit of note for this meta, because I know I am a carry player and you guys also like to watch the carry content, but I do want to fill you in a bit on what's happening in the highest bracket with regards to successful heroes and what the tempo of the game looks like for you guys to potentially pick. You're going to notice something in these top heroes. Arc Warden, Meepo, Chen, Death Prophet, Enigma. What are you noticing? A lot of summons, cheesy heroes that really ramp up the pace of the game. And then heroes like Wyvern that are really good against this that also benefit from like the Mage Slayer and the other popular items. And these are what is important for you guys to note. Even Ember Spirit is given the highest Dota 2 Pro Tracker rating, and that's because of the Mage Slayer, the Maelstrom. So really, I want you guys just to remember, if you have already forgotten, these 5 items are dictating everything about the patch, the pacing, the heroes that are strong. So when you're looking at supports, when you're looking at even offlaners, mids, it's all high tempo, aura building, utility heroes with carries and mids having Mage Slayers, Dispersers, Gleipnirs, etc. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will say, as I am getting back into the swing of things, that I understand now why you guys need help with these meta updates, because by not playing Dota for a month, I felt like I was completely out of it, and this whole last week has been complete catch-up mode for me, and that is what my meta updates are meant to be for you guys. So stay tuned. I'll try my best to make sure you're getting a meta update every single Monday, and we'll be back to uploading regular content. Like, comment, or subscribe if you want to see more of my content coming up in the near future, and I'll see you guys in the next video.